What is the difference between primary follicle, secondary follicle, and Graafian follicle? Number one, here you can see the primordial follicle, which will convert into the primary follicle. So this primordial follicle is very small in size, just 30 micrometer. The outermost layer is basement membrane. Inside you can see here the oocyte is present, and between the basement membrane and oocyte, these cells you can see, these cells are granulosa cells. So it is the primordial follicle cell, which is 30 micrometer in size. It will convert into primary follicle. What is the difference between primordial and primary follicle? You can see here the difference is zona pellucida. Zona pellucida was not present in the primordial follicle, but it is present in the primary follicle. And where the zona pellucida is present, zona pellucida is present inside the granulosa cells in the brown color you can see here. And another difference is the size. Primary follicle is about 100 micrometer in size, but the primordial follicle was just about 30 micrometer. So here is the primary follicle. Now, what is the difference between primary follicle and the secondary follicle? If we talk about secondary follicle, you can see here outside the granulosa cells, theca layer appear. This theca layer consists of different types of cells. So when theca layer appears, then we call it secondary follicle. Now this secondary follicle will convert into Graafian follicle. How? You can see what is the difference between the secondary follicle and early antral follicle. Now what is early antral follicle? Here no cavity is present between the granulosa cells, but here you can see a cavity present between the granulosa cell, that is known as antrum. Inside the antrum, follicular fluid is present. Here follicular fluid is present for the nourishment of the egg or the oocyte you can see. Now here is the theca externa and here is the theca interna. These theca interna cells are endocrine cells. They produce androgen, and androgens are transported to the granulosa cells. These granulosa cells convert those androgens into estrogen. And you know very well, Graafian follicles secrete estrogen. So these granulosa cells are responsible for the secretion of that estrogen. So when the antrum is appeared and the follicle will produce in this, follicular fluid is produced inside this cavity, then we call it Graafian follicle. Now you can see here a large cavity, that is antrum, present here. In this antrum, follicular fluid will be present, and that follicular fluid will moist and nourish the oocyte. Now this structure outside the egg is known as cumulus oophorus. Cumulus oophorus is made up of granulosa cell, but these are the group of granulosa cell which surround the egg or the oocyte are called as cumulus oophorus. And inside this brown color layer is the zona pellucida. Now, where is the corona radiata? The outermost layer of cumulus oophorus is known as corona radiata. So here is the difference between primary follicle, secondary follicle, and Graafian follicle. So the number one, in primary follicle, which structures are present? Basement membrane, oocyte, granulosa cells, and zona pellucida. In case of secondary follicle, theca layer also appear and the size increase. The size of primary follicle was 100 micrometer, secondary follicle 200 micrometer, and when antrum appear, then we call it early antral follicle. And finally, when a mature follicle is produced, all these structures are produced, then we call it Graafian follicle.